You guys, after spending way too much time in the nothingness of the quantum realm, I think we're ready to jump into another universe with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. While this isn't my favorite MCU film, and I'll show you why by bringing up some of the weird acting choices, you have to give it some credit. For a movie with a heavy amount of CGI, it surprisingly sticks to a lot of practical effects, shoots on real locations, and actually tries to create some new and refreshing concepts. In this video, I'll show you how Multiverse of Madness actually has some good CGI, so you can better judge when Marvel doesn't. Quantumania. I bet you all forgot what happened in this movie, so join me as we take a trip down memory lane. Now, before we get started, I just have to call out some of the inconsistencies in this movie, like how America Chavez, Doctor Strange, and Wong are all just eating pizza right after an entire city block was destroyed by a giant eyeball monster. Does nobody remember that just happened? You, police officer, shouldn't you be helping the wounded? Or how every single pedestrian in the 838 universe is conveniently walking away from camera so Strange in America can chat? Seriously, where y'all gotta go? And when it comes to the acting, let's talk about Elizabeth Olsen. Don't get me wrong, she's a great actress and she does a fantastic job in this movie. But she does have her out-of-place moments though.
Alright, Elizabeth, I want you to swat the demons away like they're mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes?
Yes, keep doing that. And Benedict, I want you to hiss.
Hiss?
Yes, don't question me.
Honestly, it's hard on set sometimes to know exactly how it's all gonna come together, so you can't blame them for trying new things. But Wong, he is bringing 110%.
Defensive positions! Now! Reinforce the shield! Sorcerers, fortify your mind!
Dude, it's just a Marvel movie. You don't need to go this hard. Also, Wanda's kids are pretty annoying, aren't they?
Mom, hurry! Come on! Come on, it's important! Mom, you like it? Come on!
Shut up! But probably the weirdest bit of acting is this random nobody who sits down next to Strange at Christine's wedding. They have this serious conversation that ends up with him telling Strange,
"But you still didn't get the girl."
"Who the f*** are you? Why would you say that to someone? He's at the wedding of his ex-lover. He knows he didn't get the girl." And I think it's absolutely hilarious that this man has like 30 seconds of screen time and can get his own credit at the end of the movie, next to Chiwetel Ejiofor and Rachel McAdams, you know, actual characters. If anyone deserves a credit, give it to this lady, because she is acting her ass off. But now that we've gotten the acting out of the way, let's talk about what this movie gets right. Here's a quick lesson in filmmaking terminology. Production is when the director, actors, extras, and crew all come together to shoot the movie. Post-production is everything that happens after the movie's been shot. That includes things like editing, sound mixing, and adding in the visual effects. And if you've been following the news lately, you'd know that Marvel likes to change things in post-production up until a movie's release date. It's why almost all VFX studios who work for them recently are reportedly burned out, working extreme overtime to meet their insane demands. So when a movie like Multiverse of Madness takes time and puts effort into pre-production, everything that happens before a movie starts shooting, like storyboarding, set design, costume design, and stunt work preparation, we need to recognize it. And it's because of this vision that we're able to get big-scale scenes, like giant CGI demons chasing our heroes between universes, but we're also able to get scenes like this. You wouldn't think it, but a lot of effort actually went into creating this sequence. Due to COVID pushing back their production schedule, the team actually missed out on Apple Blossom season, so they had to come back and artificially add them piece by piece. It reminds me of Star Trek Into Darkness and the effort they put into creating this red alien forest at the beginning of the movie. I remember thinking how insane it was when I learned that this is what they had to go through just for a couple minutes of screen time. It's work that probably wouldn't ever be talked about. It's not something you can sense right away, but it's something you can feel. After Disney constantly showing off how they shoot everything on the volume these days, basically a gigantic TV screen, I'm amazed when movie shoots can actually, go outside every once in a while. One look at the recent Little Mermaid trailer, and you can see that they're still doing the same thing. Actors on a green screen surrounded by a colorful mess that distracts the viewer from the fact that nothing's really going on. Multiverse of Madness does have shots like that, like here, where you can tell Wanda is just rotating in front of a green screen, but at least it's offset by some real-world effects as well. There's one thing in the movie that I want to give credit to, and that's the lighting. The fact that this big CGI monster in the background is being lit by this flickering flame on set really ties this shot together. And whenever Wanda uses her hex powers, they strap these red circular lights to her palms, so there's that extra connection of her face, hair, and hands being illuminated by the visuals of her powers. And it's just that extra step that brings this character to life. It's that level of care, you can tell, was nowhere to be found in Quantumania. Another sequence this movie deserves credit for is when America and Strange tumble their way through different universes. But while this sequence was technically flawless, if you start to pay too much attention, you realize that they didn't go crazy enough. What do we have here? A rock universe? An ice universe? Maybe I'm being too cynical, but with an infinite number of universes, do we really care about one with dinosaurs? It's like in Rise of Skywalker when they do something called light speed skipping, which allows them to hop from planet to planet. It sounds amazing, right? But pretty soon we realize we just visited a spiky planet, a planet with some boring buildings, and one where someone just farted everywhere. What is it with these movies that set up endless worlds to explore, only to spit us out in the most mundane one? Don't call it Multiverse of Madness if you're not going to get crazy with it. But now, let's shift our attention to the Illuminaughty. Never mind that the writer Michael Waldron had a less than convincing reason to bring them into the story.
Yeah, that's definitely a case of me just not knowing what to do with the script. We're in the second act. Something's got to happen. What should it be?
But it was pretty exciting to see the Illuminaughty on the big screen. Black Bolt, Captain Carter, Professor X, and her. Yay. But probably the best character introduction is when Reed Richards first appears. A shot like this, when you break it down, is pretty straightforward actually. Think of it in layers. The bottom layer is your background, and the top layer is Jim Halpert. Once you have him separated, you can then reveal him from the bottom up. Add on top of that the square blue panel that has some plasma distortion effect on it, and that's basically it. What sells this scene, again, is the lighting, and how as this panel disappears, it takes the light with it. It only lasts for a few seconds, but it totally works. On the other hand, something that doesn't quite work is the ending of the movie. Doctor Strange walks out of the sanctum and into the street, where we learn that he's grown a third eye from using the Darkhold. Wait. Is he gonna be okay? Don't leave me on a cliffhanger like that. What if he... Oh, okay. He's totally fine. A lot of people were put off by the CGI of his third eye, and yeah, it's not great or anything. It's just a little too big, and there's no eyebrow, so it just feels even more out of place. But I don't think people are asking the right question. It's not, does it look good? The question should be, did we even need this at all? Why introduce this concept only to rob it of all its suspense just a few seconds later? Talk about a mid-credit scene. Seems that these days, Marvel's just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I can't be the only one lately who after every Marvel movie is asking, who the f was that? Clea? Huh? Star Fox? What? Hercules? Hey? What's next? Yes, well, we thought it was time to give the fans what they want. Poop man. Just a poop with arms and legs. And I bet someone at Marvel thought it was going to be the coolest thing ever to show us variant Kangs by the end of Quantumania, but it just looks like Jonathan Majors went dumpster diving behind a Spirit Halloween. So as I wrap up my thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I hope you walk away with two thoughts. Some of the acting choices could have been a little different, but we make up for it with the clever blend of CGI mixed with practical effects. Maybe it was a Sam Raimi touch, but it did feel like this movie had a bit more personality than most other MCU projects these days. And that's not saying a lot. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. Hey, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.